When a woman doesn't think of you, she will not love you. A lot of men don't understand this. They think love is just a feeling that enters a woman's heart by magic. No. Love is thinking. Love is what happens when someone keeps replaying you in their mind when you are not there. That is why a man can treat a woman well and still be forgotten. Because he was kind. But he never entered her mind. He was available. But he never created curiosity. He was caring. But he made himself too easy to understand. And the brutal truth is this: the man she cannot stop thinking about has more power over her emotions than the man who keeps begging for her attention. Because women don't fall deeply for the man who explains everything. They fall deeper for the man who makes them wonder. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 things women think about when it comes to men. Not the sweet version people say in public, but the raw version men learn after being ignored, replaced, and taken for granted. And the first one is where most men destroy themselves. 1. The man who doesn't love them. Now listen carefully before you misunderstand this. I am not saying you should hate her. I am not saying you should treat her like trash. I am saying never show a woman that she has become your whole world. Because the moment she sees that she is everything to you, something dangerous happens. She relaxes. She stops wondering. She stops checking herself. She stops asking, does this man really want me? And starts thinking, this man is already mine. And once a woman feels she has fully conquered your emotions, the mystery starts dying. That is where many men lose power. They start confessing too much. They start texting too much. They start explaining too much. They start acting like losing her would destroy them. And the woman may not say it with her mouth, but inside her mind, something changes. She starts feeling too safe with your desperation. Not safe in a good way. Safe in a way that makes her careless. This is why a man must show care, but not weakness. Show her you care. Show her you are with her. Show her she matters. But never show her that you have fallen so deeply that you no longer have control over yourself. Because women love guessing. They love wondering if they are the only one in your mind. They love trying to understand what place they truly hold in your life. That curiosity is what keeps you alive in her head. She may be lying down, pretending she's not thinking about you, but her mind is asking questions. Does he really love me? Is he serious? Why is he caring but still not desperate? Why do I feel close to him, but I still cannot fully read him? That is where attraction becomes dangerous. Because the more she thinks, the more you stick. And the more you stick, the more her emotions start building around you. But when you remove all the guessing, you remove the mental hunger. A desperate man feeds her everything at once, then wonders why she is no longer hungry. A controlled man gives her enough to feel cared for, but not enough to feel she owns him. That is the difference. You are not needy. You are not begging. You are not acting like her reply is oxygen. You care, but you are still a man with a life, a mind, a direction, and emotional control. And this is why she thinks about you. Because she feels your presence. But she also feels that you are not a slave to her. And that combination is powerful. Because once a woman feels cared for by a man she cannot fully control, she starts thinking deeper than she expected. But here is where it gets even more serious. Because mystery alone is not enough. Some men hear this and start behaving like fools. They ignore her, act cold, disappear for no reason, and call it confidence. No, that is childish. A woman may think about a cold man, but she will not feel safe with him for long. And if she does not feel safe with you, her mind will eventually turn against you. That brings the next brutal truth. Before we go further, do me one favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who truly needs to hear this. Thanks very much. Let's continue. 2. When she feels happy and safe around you. This is where real men separate themselves from boys playing games. A woman thinks deeply about the man who makes her feel good when she is with him, then makes her miss that feeling when he is not there. Read that again. Because that is the secret most men don't understand. You don't win by being around her every second. You win by making the time you give her feel different from the time she spends with everybody else. When you are with her, be there. Not desperate, not weak, not trying to buy love, but present. Give her attention like a man who chose to be there, not like a man begging to be accepted. There is a huge difference. A desperate man gives time because he has nothing else. A valuable man gives time because he decided she deserves that moment. And women feel that difference. When you create time for her, let that time feel special. Make her laugh. Make her calm. Make her feel wanted. Make her feel like, in that moment, she is not competing with noise, phones, distractions, and your scattered mind. But after that moment, go back to your work. Go back to your mission. Go back to your system. This is the difference. You are not always there. But when you are there, she feels it. That is what makes her think. Because after you leave, her mind starts replaying the experience. How did I feel so good around him? Why do I miss that moment? Why do I want to see him again? That is how emotional attachment grows. But most men destroy this balance. Some men are always available, so their presence becomes cheap. Every hour they are there. Every small message they reply. Every mood she has, they run. Every time she is bored, they entertain. And slowly, she stops feeling lucky to have their time. She starts treating it like something normal. And what becomes normal stops feeling valuable. Other men go to the opposite extreme. They ignore her on purpose. They act busy when they are not busy. They make her feel unwanted just to prove a point. That is not masculinity. That is insecurity wearing a mask. A woman should not feel like she is begging for basic attention from you. But she should also not feel like your life pauses whenever she appears. This is the brutal balance. Give her time when needed. Focus on her when you give it. Make her feel happy and safe around you. Then return to your life with strength. That absence becomes powerful because it comes after a good experience. If your presence is boring, your absence means nothing. If your presence is needy, your absence feels like relief. But if your presence feels strong, warm, focused, and rare enough, your absence becomes something she feels, and that feeling turns into thinking, and that thinking turns into emotional pull. But there is one more part most men avoid, and this one can quietly decide whether she keeps coming back or slowly starts giving excuses. 3. Women also think about lovemaking. Women also think about lovemaking. And any man who pretends this does not matter is lying to himself. Because the way you handle your woman physically can affect how she behaves with you emotionally. That is the brutal truth. A woman can like your personality. She can enjoy your attention. She can respect your effort. But if physical intimacy with you is weak, rushed, selfish, boring, or careless, don't be shocked when her energy starts changing. Because physical intimacy creates memory. She remembers how you made her feel. She remembers if you were confident. She remembers if you were patient. She remembers if you understood her. She remembers if you were clean, calm, controlled, and present. And she remembers if you were only thinking about yourself. That memory follows her. This is why I say, the more you know how to handle your woman in bed, the more it can affect how she lives with you outside the bed. Either she will keep coming back with desire, or she will slowly start giving excuses. I'm tired. Not today. I'm not in the mood. I have a headache. And sometimes those things are real. But sometimes, brother, it means the experience with you no longer pulls her. She is not thinking about it. She is not missing it. She is not replaying it. She is not craving that closeness anymore. And once a woman stops thinking about physical intimacy with you, danger has entered the relationship quietly, because she may still be there physically, but her desire has started walking away. That is how many men lose women without noticing. Not in one argument, not in one breakup, not because another man came first, but because the experience with him became weak, predictable, lazy, and empty. And instead of learning, he became proud. Instead of paying attention, he assumed everything was fine. Instead of improving, he kept doing the same thing and expecting the same woman to stay excited. That is foolishness. A woman is not a machine. You cannot be selfish with the moment, careless with her body, rushed with the experience, and still expect her to think about you with desire. You must learn her. That is the part that many men don't want to hear. Not every woman responds the same way. Not every woman enjoys the same thing. Not every woman opens up the same way. So if you never study her, never read her reactions, never care about what makes her comfortable, never notice what makes her respond, you are not leading intimacy. You are guessing. And guessing is where many men fail. This is not about doing nonsense. It is not about acting fake. It is not about trying to perform like a movie. It is about mastering the basics. Cleanliness, confidence, patience, control, attention, understanding, knowing when to slow down, knowing when to lead, knowing when she is comfortable, knowing when she is not fully there. Because a woman thinks about the man who makes her feel something strong physically. She thinks about the man who made her feel wanted, the man who made her feel understood, the man who did not rush like a hungry boy with no control, the man who made the experience feel good for her too, not only for himself. That is the difference between a man she tolerates and a man she remembers. And listen carefully. If physical intimacy with you becomes something she only tolerates, you are already in trouble. Because once a woman starts tolerating closeness instead of wanting it, her mind begins to create distance. She becomes colder. She avoids moments alone with you. She stops creating closeness. She starts acting like intimacy is pressure. And the foolish man will say, "She has changed." No. Sometimes she has not changed. Sometimes the experience with you stopped making her feel anything. That is why a man must not be lazy there. If you want her to think about you, give her something worth thinking about, not by force, not by pressure, not by selfishness, but by knowing how to make physical intimacy strong, mature, clean, confident, and unforgettable. Because physical intimacy is not everything. But don't be foolish. It is part of how a woman experiences you as a man. Your confidence shows there. Your control shows there. Your patience shows there. Your cleanliness shows there. Your selfishness also shows there. Your weakness also shows there. Your laziness also shows there. So stop rushing. Stop assuming. Stop thinking only about yourself. Stop believing she is satisfied just because she did not complain. Because a woman may not always tell you the truth with her mouth. But her desire will tell you. If she keeps coming back, something is working. If she keeps avoiding, something is missing. And as a man, you must be mature enough to learn, improve, and understand what your woman needs. Because the more you handle her well physically, the more she thinks about you. And the more she thinks about you, the more you stay in her mind when you are not there. But if you are careless, selfish, lazy, and weak in that area, don't be shocked when she becomes cold. Don't be shocked when she starts giving excuses. Don't be shocked when she stops looking at you the same way. Because physical intimacy creates memory. If the memory is bad, she avoids it. But if the memory is strong, mature, exciting, and satisfying, she comes back to it in her mind. And that is the point. Women also think about lovemaking. And the man who understands how to handle that area well does not only touch her body, he stays in her memory. So understand this clearly. Women think about men who create emotional tension, men who care but are not desperate, men who give time but are not always available, men who make them feel safe but not bored, men who create happiness then return to their purpose, men who understand intimacy, not just physically, but emotionally. This is how a man enters a woman's mind. And once you enter her mind properly, her feelings start following. Because love is not just what she says. Love is what she keeps thinking about when you are not in front of her. So now I want you to comment below. What else makes a woman think about a man non-stop? Drop it in the comment section so other men can learn from your experience too. Because maybe your comment will open another man's eyes before he loses a woman he thought he already had.